Hello and welcome to Respect the Crit. I'm your host and game master, Ian Duncan, and I am joined by some people that they've been with me through this since the beginning, which is saying a lot because it takes a lot to stick with me through anything. But first we have the droid from the void, Jamie Lee-Bonés.
Hello, I am Jamie. I play Elo, the modified medical droid.
Ooh, so very fancy.
Mm-hmm.
And also our fast flying space ace, Alex Herrera.
Ooh, that was a good one. Fast flying space ace. Hi, I'm Alex, and I play Beegax, the Doug Slicer. Also the pilot.
And default pilot.
Yeah, and gunsmith.
and gunsmith. And droid repair.
And droid repair. Human and Doug meat shield.
Surrogate
ramen
mother.
lover. Surrogate. Oh, yeah, surrogate
mom.
Yeah.
That's right. The Cjaalysce'i of children.
I forgot.
Man, these characters have been through a lot. Do the two of you know this is our 25th episode? We have recorded and put out 25 of these bad little boys and girls that consistently through a global pandemic and changes to our recording setup and all of that, we've managed to put out 25 of these episodes throughout the year. That's not nothing.
I mean,
No, I think we should get sponsored by Dr. Pepper.
hell yes, we should.
Because it's like 20 or 25 flavors, 23 flavors is what they advertise.
Oh, yeah, there we go. Did you hear that, Dr. Pepper? I'm a pepper, you're a pepper, we're all peppered for whatever.
We can all be peppers in
We
space.
could all have Dr. Pepper in the Star Wars universe.
Yeah.
Space pepper.
But if sessions were years, the show could rent a spaceship by now.
Oh,
'Cause
hey,
25.
there you go. That's impressive.
Yeah, you could do it before 25, you just get charged a shit ton.
Yeah, no one takes you seriously. They still card you at bars.
I miss that though, because now I'm old and I'm like,
They don't even ask for your ID anymore. It's so sad.
No.
And just like this show right now, it's only going to get older. So. I would just want to say, I have had a lot of fun doing these adventures with the two of you, with Beegax, with Elo, and with the humans behind them, Jamie and Alex. That's super cool. I've just had a ton of fun. So
Me too.
thank you, both of you. Yeah,
Likewise, me too.
this has been great. And we're going to march to 50. We're going to march to 50
yeah.
is what we're going to do. 50, here we come.
Yep. Dr. Pepper sponsorship, here we come.
Yeah, here we come.
No, I'll make it happen. I'm gonna call them up.
Into the future we go, and in doing so, let's just jump right in. A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away.
Episode 25, Below the Surface. After a harrowing battle with Socorran fauna, Beegax and Elo continue their journey to the walled city of Cjaalysce'i via a network of tunnels below the surface of the planet. However, human crew for hire Verse is less than thrilled about the fringers' plans to help a Hutt fool the local crime lords and instigate an open conflict between Socorro and the Hutt homeworld. But will her objections endanger Elo and Beegax's plans? Will they be forced to hide another body? Survival and obligation pull in two directions as our fringers navigate the subterranean labyrinth.
You are still making your way down these dark and dusty tunnels. No idea what created them. And every once in a while you see some branching paths or whatever, but it seems straight ahead is where you need to be going. Certainly the only place the vehicle will fit. You can both, now that you have a minute to sort of like catch your breath, wipe the gunk of these things off of you and the dust from the shaft that you're traveling down, can make discipline rolls to regain some strain if that is what you want to do.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it sounded like you needed it.
2 success.
It's a strain recovered for every success rolled.
Got 2 successes as well.
So Elo's doing okay.
Bernie started working on me.
I'm stressing out.
You continue to drive down in sort of this, I imagine this kind of like awkward silence a little bit after this sort of conversation you have, and certainly after this battle with like the adrenaline starting to wear off and you're kind of just focused on your destination. You make your way forward until you come to an area where it's starting to get more narrow down these tunnels, and some of the paths begin to wind around a lot more up and down and to the east and the west, and you start to see like a couple of branches that seem to be sort of like blocked off from like landslide or things have fallen into them or something like that, as if there was once a way to go through here but now no longer, and those options are cut off from you, until eventually you come to a place where there is very definitely branching out into directions, and it seems that a decision must be made in order to continue forward.
How many branches exactly? Sorry.
There are several. Some of them are like blocked up, like they're just not able to, you're not able to go much further beyond them because there's some kind of blockage or something, or they're too narrow. There is one to the northeast. There is one to the southwest. There is one sort of like west from you and to the northwest. So sort of like 2 branching out in front of you, one that's sort of like to the side, and then one that sort of like swoops around behind you, and then some other tunnels or like apertures, but some of those just seem like blocked off and you're not able to go down.
Are we able to like figure out our geographical sort of location? Or is because we're underground that not really something that we could figure out? The
path, even though it's kind of wound around and like followed these serpentine and labyrinthine tunnels, generally traveling from Vaquea, the edge of Vaquea where the casino is, up to Cjaalysce'i is a northern journey. So you have, even though you're underground, and certainly you have like equipment and stuff that can sort of like tell you what direction, you have been making your way north.
Okay.
In a northerly direction.
I don't feel very confident in my ability to determine which tunnel we should take.
Well, can I maybe offer you a deal?
No headset points.
Fine, but Karen gets to decide.
No, not that kind of deal. It's not that kind of deal. You can choose one of these paths as I mean, you can take a look and see what you see and choose, or if you want to leave it in the hands of fate, you can roll the destiny die and see what it turns up as well.
Ooh. I mean, yeah, that's essentially us subconsciously asking the Force to take us somewhere, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
We have to manifest, Alex.
Yeah. Well, I'm not the Jedi here. the old man, I think, would be the closest that he's not here with us. Yeah, I guess that's the way to go. I'm down.
Me too. Let's leave it up to fate.
All right. Elect someone to roll that destiny die.
I feel like Jamie should do it.
Jamie has her finger on her nose for listeners to the podcast.
So this one then, yeah, the destiny die?
Yep, that's the one.
Ian from the future, please cue Star Wars Force theme, whichever one that is not copyrighted right now.
You know it.
One dark side point.
One dark side point. Okay. What is Beegax feeling?
A couple different. One, first and foremost, he's thinking like, Verse is gonna rat us out, and the plan's gonna fail because she's gonna rat us out. So he's thinking like, well, at some point I have to knock her unconscious. I have to take her out and hide her somewhere within the walled city, or frame her or something. He has to do something to get rid of her, but without killing her himself directly in typical Beegax fashion. So he's got that running over his head. Two is he's thinking I should have left her back in the tunnels when we drove off, but something compelled him to reach out. Looking around these tunnels, I'm assuming the truck kind of comes to a stop. He shuts it off, looks at the different tunnels in front of him, around him, behind him. He's gonna close his eyes and just like let out this like really exasperated sigh. He can close his eyes and hear the machinery whirling within Barney as it's like flying around Elo. He can hear parts of Elo not firing off, but like kind of like misfiring a little bit from the strains that they've taken. And he can hear Versus breathing, and then he's gonna hear that old man's voice, like just for like in his mind for a split second, and he's gonna like suddenly open his eyes and just feel something is pulling him towards whatever tunnel is positioned northwards.
Yeah. I would say, with the description that you've given, that Beegax is in conflict with his feelings.
Yeah, very much. Is this your way of telling me I need to fix my conflicts? Is this the GM way of guiding the narrative towards fixing? If it is, I would love to do that. I would love to fix the narrative.
I am simply regurgitating what you have told me, and for you, it is up to you to do what you will with it. But the tunnel is chosen.
Okay, yeah, that's the tunnel. But if he's not gonna continue, because I think Ian, aka our god of Star Wars here, I think he put out a good point. Beegax has the truck is off, and he's gonna climb back again to the back, look at Elo and Barney, and to Verse, and he's gonna sit down in front of Verse, like crisscross applesauce style, just like looking at her for a second.
I probably should have let you die back there, but my conscience, whatever sliver of conscience I've gained over the last few cycles, has it's gotten the best of me.
She like looks into Beegax's eyes, and it's not like a stare down or anything. She's like searching for honesty. I think you didn't leave me to die back there because you know it's the right thing to do.
When she says that, he gets like he kind of backs up, and he'll kind of spit on the back of the truck for a second, and like rub his beard again aggressively as he has in the past, showing the kind of pock mark where he just continually like the dead skin, which is semi-lightened compared to the rest of him.
How do we make it so that the Hutts and the Triumvirate both are out of the picture, so that Socorro can find peace? I'm out of ideas, and honestly, if I came up with another one, I'd probably end up owing somebody else favors and money.
I don't know yet. But I know we can come up with something. And I know we can come up with something good. I don't know what it is.
All right. Well, here are some things we can't have happen. One, you can't tell the Triumvirate what's going to happen, because then they'll kill us, making everything we're doing pretty much moot. Two, we can't give the Hutts any evidence of the Triumvirate really wanting to kill him. Maybe when he fakes his death, somebody else can take advantage of that.
And he's gonna look up.
You wouldn't happen to know of any resistance groups on Socorro, would you? Besides the one that tried to kill us.
I don't know of any groups, but I know that people who are taking a stand against tyranny, that's a good start. We can build on that.
Yeah. If the Hutt's dead,
He does air quotes.
and the Triumvirate are busy trying to figure out where he is, that's a pretty big opportunity for someone to come in and essentially catch them with their pants down, so to speak. And the Empire isn't going to be here because they're too busy doing whatever it is they're doing on Scarif and all those other places. It seems like the right time for someone to move in.
It's a distraction.
Yeah.
Yeah. That could work. Okay. And she, like, puts her hand out for one of Beegax's hand. Similar to the clasp of when he, like, grabbed her, pulling her up onto the truck.
And he'll extend his hand and shake it, and then he'll say,
You know, this is the third time we've done this. Pretty soon people are gonna start talking.
and he kind of has this like really gnarly smile showing his dug teeth.
She kind of smirks and she says, "Don't flatter yourself."
And he'll release the handshake, go back to the front of the truck, and go towards the tunnel where he's feeling the pull.
You drive down this tunnel, and as you come up, there's like a pile of something, or sort of like littered around the ground. You have to sort of like steer around some stuff, and in the headlights, in the darkness, as you move, it looks like bodies.
Oh.
And you can get out if you want, but they're just sort of kind of like scattered and like around up on the sides and on the ground, and you have to sort of like maneuver around them or go over them.
I'll stop the truck immediately.
Hello. You want to check these out? See how they died?
Elo will look over and nod, and will sort of step down onto the ground and walk over to one of the freshest bodies that they can find.
You go down. You can give me a medicine check or a xenology check.
Oh, that sounds really fancy, but I'm just going to go with what I'm good at.
And I think this will be an average check, and I'll give you a blue die for reasons why I'll describe.
2 successes, 2 advantage.
Awesome. I gave you the blue die because you've run into this native of Socorro before. These are monarchs. They're weird looking. They're very alien looking bipedal creatures, but they all seem to be dead. And furthermore, they all seem to be like, there's something different about these. And with your successful medicine check, like, it doesn't seem to be like a different species of them or a different breed of them somehow. Like, their coloration is different, and they're sort of like warped a little bit different. They seem like mutated somehow, and it doesn't look like a natural mutation.
Okay.
And their death, it seems like they've been cut, stabbed, like
They've been slaughtered.
So they've been slaughtered, yeah.
Okay. How recent does it seem?
It's not recent, like it's not been within hours or anything like that, but they're not desiccated corpses, so it didn't happen long ago either.
Okay, well, Elo's gonna walk up to one, and kneel down as they're sort of scanning and trying to figure out what is going on with these monarchs. They'll yell back over to Beegax. They seem to have some sort of mutation.
Ah, good. The alien things that were already vicious could be worse. Pleasant. I like that. Alright, don't waste any more time. Let's get out of here.
Does it seem like a cosmetic mutation, like boils, or...?
It's almost like they've been twisted, like their limbs have grown wrong or something. You know how sometimes, when people get burned and their flesh sort of comes like that? They don't look burned, but that's the sort of like angry, uncomfortable looking stress on their bodies.
Okay, I'm gonna take a sample anyway, and Ella's gonna like shoot into one of these people and suck up all the goodies.
I don't think Beegax has ever seen this before. So when he watches them do this, he's just like mumbling under his breath. Slimo.
Yeah, Verse just kind of like winces and looks away. But yeah, you're able to get like a sample of some gross monarch juice.
Cool. Then they'll just turn back around and hop back on the truck, and they'll have it out and they'll be looking at it. Assumedly, they still have these gross looks on their faces, and Ella's just going to say, What?
Nothing. Just forgot. You have some weird hobbies and interests.
And he'll start the truck.
Press the button, truck pushes on. You move past these bodies, and eventually they're in your rear view mirror. Now things are getting narrow, where driving the vehicle is impossible. Now the only way forward is on foot.
Okay. Beegax turns off the truck, begins to kind of rummage through whatever compartments are on the truck, looking for something we should have done in the beginning. Any extra equipment or any type of gear that they might have left on this thing to take it with them, but I doubt it.
On this, I think there's probably... You want to flip a light side point?
I do not. No, we have 2 left. I'm not doing that. Technically I've used 3, so I am not going to use any more. The rest are Jamie's, because I feel bad that I monopolized 3 of them.
Fair enough.
Use them. Use them all.
I don't want to use them.
We could die tomorrow. We could die right now.
Fine. I'm flip a light side point.
Okay.
Look for gear on the truck. What do I find?
I think you probably find... Let's see, what would be... I think there's probably flares. I think there's probably an emergency medical kit.
Is there a map? No.
I think there's probably an emergency repair patch. And this is more for like the vehicle, but it could be used on an inorganic being.
Okay, got an Elo healing kit. Got it.
Anything else? Anything else you're looking for?
No, essentially, like, I'm not gonna find disruptor ammo because these are illegal weapons, so that's out of the question. But yeah, looking emergency repair pack and the emergency medical kit are also good. Road flares could be useful for like improvised situations. So yeah, he'll take those.
Okay.
And he'll give Elo both the medical kit and the emergency repair patch kit, which I assume are like these little cases, and he'll give them to them.
Everyone piles out. I assume you're just like continuing forward on foot now.
Yeah.
Got it. You travel through dark tunnels. Oh, there's probably like a flashlight or something too. There's probably like something to,
Yeah, it's called Elo.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Definitely. Yeah. Elo's eyes and mouth, lighting the way. Make like just as before, just at the as the beginning, as you were traveling down these tunnels, sort of lighting up, making strange shadows stretch down across this thing, and eventually you see daylight. And when I say daylight, you see the hot red sun that illuminates in this planet's atmosphere. So you see like red and and you see it like bleed and bounce around through the tunnel, like creating this dark gradient and you move towards it brighter and brighter as you come out into some kind of like drainage area. Basically, there's nothing really here. There's maybe a couple of buildings, but you look around and see the walls of Cjaalysce'i surrounding you.
I think Beegax would look very carefully around, make sure no one's around as we're coming out of this waste tunnel here, this drainage tunnel.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like there's probably, oh, you know what? There's probably like some children or something playing, and they all look at you as like a droid and a human just sort of like crawl out of a hole basically in the ground, and they're just like, they stop what they're doing and they're just like watching you.
Beegax looks at the kids.
You know where the bathroom is?
And they like look at each other, and then one of them just like points to a building across the way.
Thanks.
And then he'll just like nod for the rest of them to follow him.
Come on.
The kids watch as this procession goes by them, and one of them like nudges the one that replied to you and whispers something, and they go back to sort of like arguing and doing what kids do. And yeah, you make your way into Cjaalysce'i. Again, like, it's a closed off city. It seems very like, do you know Navarro City in The Mandalorian? Like it's very much, it's kind of very much like that. A little bit more kept up. Like, it's not quite as like dingy and dirty. And then of course there's one of the larger structures is a pyramid at the sort of like at the base of the mountains as it is set against, and then a big landing pad. You can definitely see the pyramid from here.
I think Beegax would, as we're walking, because I assume we're not going to the bathroom, I just have to get the kids off our back, but we're walking through the streets, or at least leaving this sewage area getting onto the streets, or like this open area where the drain pipe was. And he'll look to Elo and verse.
Alright, so first things first. We can't make any move until we hear about the Hutt dying. Maybe we look for this, your friend, potential friend.
He looks to Elo when he says this.
Elo's gonna look down at Beegax and sort of look across the city, thinking to themselves, well, where do we begin? Is there any way you could figure out which way we need to go?
Yeah, just give me a data terminal.
They're gonna look around. Where's the closest building or like that we could get into that would have that sort of technology?
Well, Beegax, you know there's a terminal that you use to hack a bank.
Oh yeah. Yeah, but that's super risky. I don't want to do a bank again. You know what I'm gonna do? Let's flip the last light side point.
Ooh! Do it.
I'm gonna find the second in a long chain of ramen stands or noodle stands that exist in this Star Wars
yes,
universe.
Baby.
And the droid, the little, in my head it's like an R2 unit, but he's got the multicolor, like he's got orange, white, and a like hint of like blue or green or some little weird like tertiary color that's present on all of this company's signage and branding and marketing.
Yeah.
And he's gonna see it. He's gonna go,
Yes. Food and service.
Oh, you smell it before you see it too. Like you can
Yeah.
smell the noodles coming off of it. There's a noodle kiosk here with a little droid like spinning noodles.
So he'll be like, he won't even wait for the other two to like notice. He's just gonna walk straight towards it, sit at the counter, and say,
Hey, how you doing?
and he puts however many credits for the large bowl of noodles.
It chirps enthusiastically at you, takes the credits as though you were a longtime customer, and spins its little body around and begins just like whipping up noodles in a bowl with some hot broth.
And as that happens, I look around, and still using the momentum of my light sight point, there is a terminal with a jack stationed nearby, just as the other one was. And I'm gonna just, while the droid is busy, I'm gonna pop it in, bust out the new deck, because it doesn't look like an Imperial deck now, it just looks like a regular deck, and I'm gonna work on it as I'm eating my noodles right there at the counter.
Sweet. I need you to make me just a average computer check.
Now we're speaking my language. Digital language. Wunderbar. 1 success, 2 advantage.
1 success, 2 advantage. Yeah, this is so cool. So I think it's like what you're able to pull up is like their delivery area, right? And so like it's got maps, it's got addresses, it's got like a map of the city and ways to get around. And you're able to pull that.
It's like the perfect reference to, it's the perfect counterpoint to what we needed, because we have where he generally is, and now we have like a layout of the area, routes, and buildings, and how many floors each building is, and Beegax is just like clickety-clacking away, insert sound effect here.
Yeah, this is good. It's like a faucet that just won't stop giving.
The noodles come out, he's like,
Thanks.
Versus like, well, first watches Beegax slurp this down and she's like, did you even taste that?
It's better if you don't. It's about the heat. That's the most important part. It doesn't matter about the taste. You just want to feel the spices, artificial. Oh, it's the best kind of spices you can find.
keeps on working.
All right, Elo, I think we got a good area here.
And I'm gonna say that based off all the information I have, and let me know if I can or cannot do this, but it's like it's an apartment complex similar to that found in like in like the Deus Ex franchise, where it's like very tall megastructures close together. There's different tiers of life. So like the bottom 20 floors are like, you know, Garbo slums. The next 20 tier are like mid tier, semi okay, and like the last 20 are like the high rise and high end. You can only get up there with like key card or whatever, however you want to do it. But like it's most, if not all of the buildings in that particular area we have to go to, I would assume, are set up like that.
Yeah. However, this address, you notice, is in the lowest tier of all of that.
Oh, in the slums.
Yeah, in the slums, for sure. I imagine, too, like, Barney comes off of Elo's shoulder for a little bit and just sort of, like, circles around the noodle droid, and they sort of have, like, a little conversation together as these noodles are being served up.
Can Barney be getting this noodle recipe from this little bag?
Oh, interesting.
Oh, would he give up company secrets?
He's trying. Well, I mean, maybe just like, hey, what's that special spice you use? You know, like conversationally, because Barney wants to be friends with Beegax.
Ah, I get it. Okay, cool. Yeah. Roll me a computer check.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh no. Okay.
Let's call it an average check.
I hope Barney isn't giving up any secrets either, though.
Oh god, he's chatty Cathy, that one. 4 advantages.
Yeah, they have this conversation, and it is and Barney comes back to you, and it sort of like downloads the sort of like stuff it's got from talking, and it wasn't able to get what the secret spice is, but he knows that it's all about the broth.
Okay.
It's all about the broth.
If we ever have any viewers that are Japanese or listeners that are Japanese and speak English, you already destroyed half of them, because the debate in ramen is noodle. It's about the noodles, and the other side is no. It's about the broth. It's a war. It's like the same thing equivalent here. We have dry rub barbecue versus sauce barbecue.
Right? Yeah. Yeah. This ramen's all about the broth. But what spices it is? Who's to know? But I think there may be a through line there. There's definitely a way to get that. There's definitely a way to get that recipe. There's definitely a way to get that
if they're
recipe.
a chain, we'll just pick up little bits and pieces.
I'm not hacking my beloved corporation, Ramen Co. Star Ramen Co. Inc. No.
Star Ramen, yeah. Cool, yeah, you have a delicious meal, and I'm going to say that allows you to heal up a wound eating that.
I am at full. Can I translate that to a strain?
Yeah.
Perhaps.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely you can.
Thank you. Woo! Ramen of the gods I'm at 5 strain. 5 out of 11. Almost there.
Yeah, you've got this map. You've got this address. What do you do?
Beegax, after finishing the meal, turns. He kind of nods to the droid.
My compliments to the chefs. So far, you've all been great.
And he puts another, whatever, like a tip for credits. I'm going to assume the meal is like 5 credits. And the tip will be 2, if that's the currency exchange you're okay with.
It's 2 credits for large bowl. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Then I'll do 2 credits and then another 2, like basically pay double as like a tip.
And say, next time I see another stand, maybe you can put in a good word for me with your buddies.
Okay, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna flip a dark side point.
Oh no.
You see a flash.
Shit.
And then
no.
it like chirps enthusiastically at you, and a little spindle comes out and flicks up another little spindle in a tiny mechanical thumbs up. It has taken a photo of you.
You're a rewards member now.
I am both thrilled and highly, highly upset, but I remain a strong neutral. Thank you very much.
And I'm gonna turn around and like look at Elo and say, let's go. Come on.
Ella will give a little wave and follow.
You all leave this noodle stand. It waves goodbye at you, and we see its eyebrows go in an evil incline. No, just kidding. No, it takes a hollow of you and like puts it up, yeah, and like our most valuable customers kind of thing.
Whoa.
No.
It's like the most awkward picture of Beegax too. He's mid-sentence.
Yeah, he's like, yeah.
Yeah, it's a terrible photo. So I assume you guys go to this address.
Yeah. So I
yeah.
would say, I was gonna say that like Beegax tells the party, let's go to this address, and for the sake of brevity, because I know the delivery routes and stuff for this shop or what they have, I'm gonna pick the least populated or the least frequented roads, like the small offshoot ones that people won't normally take, whether on speeder or by foot. If there are any sections that are underground, I'd also take those because we've been in the underground of this place before. Where when we were trying to get out the first time, and there's that whole network of garages or whatever that's underneath the city. So
Yeah, that's true.
try and find sections like that to kind of duck into.
Yeah, you make your way virtually unseen. I want to have you roll a stealth check.
Yeah,
but
that's fair.
I think you need some. I'm gonna say because you've got this map and everything, I'm gonna give you 2 blue to that.
Double icy dice, I love it.
Yeah. And Elo, I'm gonna need you to roll the same check. So let's call it a hard check. And the reason why it's hard is because a lot of people that live in Cjaalysce'i, it's a small closed community. They know who lives here. So 3 purple, 2 blue.
I got 2 success, 2 advantage.
2 advantage.
Oh, that's actually perfect. That's so perfect. I think it's the most of the people here. There are some droids that are walking around, so droids are harder to clock. Verse is a Socorran human. She's harder to clock. Beegax is Doug.
Mm-hmm.
He's real easy to clock.
Yeah, well, not a lot of my guys left malice there.
Yeah. Yep. But you are able to make it through the alleys of these streets and through these delivery ways using this map to avoid traffic. And although you're not able to fully get by with no one seeing you, because there are other people like moving through and making their own way, you even maybe pass a noodle delivery droid, you do make it to this place. And it's sort of like a very simple home. Think the buildings in Navarro City from Mandalorian, obviously still dusty with that like ashy, coarse black sand that's everywhere here on Socorro. And yeah, it seems it's got like a door, like a mechanical door, and it's just sort of like in this housing area, there's places where people have laundry strewn up and bits of junk outside of their homes. But yeah, you come to this door. No, there's no markings on it or anything.
Beegax looks to Elo and says,
I think it should be you, right? I mean, you should be able to identify this guy first.
Elo is going to step forward, but does she just open it or knock?
Well, it won't just come open. It is like a mechanical door. It does have like a door pad, like a pad, an electronic pad, some kind of electronic lock or something.
Okay, then Elo is going to step up towards the door and give it a knock.
Bang, bang, bang.
Or clang, clang,
Yeah.
clang.
Clang, clang, clang. Echoes through this alley. Nobody answers.
They'll look down at Beegax, and then they're going to do it again, but even harder.
Clang, clang, clang. Still no answer.
Okay, never mind. I guess it's my turn.
takes out his data pad and plugs into the keypad and hacks the door.
Give me a hard computer check.
Oh, it's hard. That means that they knew they got the security system. Well, guess what? I'm gonna use bypass security.
What? Yeah, I was just gonna say I wanted to throw a black die in there.
Not anymore. Doesn't matter. It's gone. I removed it.
Yeah. Okay. Never mind. Never mind.
All right. So it's a hard one, right? So
it's just 3 purple now.
Okay. Cool. All right, Bothans. Let's see what you're made of. That is a triumph
Whoa!
and 1 success, but then 2 failures, so that erases it, doesn't it?
Yeah, 2 failures, 1 success, and a triumph. That's a wash with the triumph. Well, what do you want to do?
I would like to, as I plug it in, just start going through the data pad, running like a really easy, low maintenance hack, right? A slice, because it's not my deck; it's just a data pad.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a redundancy thing where like it just continually attacks it and using all these different numbers while there's another subroutine underneath that's like skimming for, okay, if it's not this one, then maybe we can determine which numbers are correct for the pad.
Yeah.
And while that's happening, I feel my data pad like start to overheat, and I'm like, criff. And I'm just like hoping that it completes, and then it shuts off because overheating. Just and I'm like, and unplug it. Triumph would be that I got like maybe half the code, but that's not enough for me to work with.
I think the triumph is... I'll give you this information. Someone has put in there something that trips when someone tries to access this.
Whoops.
And it doesn't set anything off. It just lets someone know that someone is trying to enter.
He'll put the data pad away, look at Elo and Verse.
Alright, so if they don't know we were coming, they do now. Hopefully, they're peaceful. If not,
He looks at Verse and kind of like
you know,
makes like a gun motion.
there's something going on in there. I tripped something as I plugged in. Very sophisticated technique that they're using here. I would guess espionage type guy.
And he looks to Elo.
So maybe we found the right person.
Ella's looking down at Beegax and then is going to look back at this tall building all the way up and say, "Yes, but how do we get in now?"
Chances are they'll come down here. Well, I mean, I didn't trip an alarm, obviously. I don't hear anything, but I tripped something. They should know someone's trying to find them or access this door here.
You can both roll me a perception check.
Oh no. Another one of my worst ones.
Yeah, I know this is a great one for you.
2 success!
You have partial of that code, and you can see the places. There are cleaner spots on the buttons of where to press. You think you can open this door based on what you got and like figuring out what the rest would be. Give it like 20 minutes or something.
A very Assassin's Creed of you, Ian. Beegax looks at the keypad, looks at his data pad.
Okay. Yeah, give me some time. I think I can get the door open. Just watch my back.
And he begins.
Little time passes. Door opens. Immediately, you can see there's no one here. This is a very small domicile. There may be like another room, sort of like a 1-bedroom apartment kind of thing going on, and it's empty. There is not a whole lot of stuff in here either. But there's no one in here.
Ella's gonna walk in and sort of start to look around and see what has been left over. If it's been sort of wiped or if like somebody moved out.
Yeah, give me a... Well, you can give me a perception check. I know how much you love those. But...
Difficulty.
Let's call it average. And actually, I'll give you a blue die because Elo has a relationship with Gur.
So that's 2 purple, 1 blue.
Yeah.
And my 1 green.
And you're 1 green.
2 advantages, 2 failures.
Okay. I'll tell you this. What stands out to you is it doesn't look lived in here. Doesn't look like... I mean, there's a bed and there's like dishes and there's like chairs and stuff, but it feels really staged. Like no one uses this stuff. And there's a big table, and it's got stuff on it. None of this is Gur's kind of stuff. Like everything looks really humble, but it looks too humble.
Okay. Elo's gonna walk in, and I kind of picture them just like scanning the room, and you see them looking at this room with Beegax behind them, and they're just going to say, "Well, now what do we Griffin do?"
Beegax walks in, kind of rubbing his chin. This is like a safe house, like a burner house, I think. That's what Alex thinks. But Beegax, would he be able to discern that?
I think Beegax could, because I think Beegax has been in places where it's like...
You're right.
You know? And they may not be quite like this, but I think he knows, like, what a safe house is and how to use it.
Okay, well, in that case, he will, walk around, even looking in that one bedroom in the back and seeing that's probably scarce. Like, there's probably a bed and some furniture, but that's it. Even if that...
It's really sparse. There's like a bed and like a big circular table, and then like a couple of chairs.
Yeah, so he'll look around here.
Yeah. I think we're a step behind again, Elo. This is like a safe house, safe haven. If he was here, he's either long gone or this place is no good to him anymore.
But then he looks at the keypad again, and he kind of mumbles to himself.
Why would they lock it?
Elo wants to look around the room to see if there's any... I suppose, like, if this is sort of like a staged room, she's looking to see if there's, like, cameras, if there's, like... You know how when you have a hotel, there's always that little safe that they have in the closet?
Oh, yeah.
Anything like that where it's like, okay... I'm just trying to figure out, like, if anybody was here, who was here.
Right. Yeah. So you're, like, poking around. You're, like, checking for surveillance. Tell me how you are checking this stuff out. Describe for us what Elo is doing.
I think almost out of anxiety, though you wouldn't be able to tell, Elo is sort of frantically looking around the room, in the closet, pulling open the drawers, and whether or not they find anything, I think Elo, you can tell that there's like a hastiness to the way that they're doing this, maybe not as diligently as somebody who is not emotional about it would be.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually they'll just stop and sort of pause, and is going to try to configure what the next step here is.
I think in their haste, and it's kind of erratic behavior, I would imagine it's kind of erratic behavior. To Beegax and Verse, Elo has not kind of been like this at all. And as they bump around, like sort of like throwing things open and like checking in corners and nooks and opening up cupboards, and Elo, as you sort of like bump into stuff and stand there sort of like having exhausted the options, you realize you've bumped the table. And you like sort of like bumped it away from where you're standing. Just your big droid legs sort of just like knock it off, and a couple of things like just like fall off of it. A couple of knickknacks, and
as soon as it sort of crashes over to the ground, I think that would take Elo out of their not frantic state, because they're still of that ilk, but more okay, now I have something to focus on. What is that? And they're gonna walk over and see what this knickknack thing that they knocked over and broke was.
It looks like a piece of like Bothan crockery or something. Like it's like a figure, like a little figurine that has only meaning in like Bothan culture. And it's shattered onto the ground in pieces now. Not so much that you can't recognize what it is, but when you go over to like pick it up, you realize there's a lot of like scuff marks on the floor here around this table, like on the floor.
Okay, Elo's going to push the table out of the way and is going to look further to see if they're coming from a certain direction.
Yeah, you move the table and there's a hatch underneath it.
Oh.
Like a door.
Okay. So I picture them like literally throwing this table across the room as soon as they see this hatch.
Shit.
They're going to pause and slowly open the hatch.
It opens and a ladder descends down a short way, and some lights begin to come on down there, lighting up a room below this room. And this room, from what you can see, you can't see the entirety of the room, but it looks very different than this room above.
Elo is going to look back at Beegax and just sort of like a shrug of their shoulders, turn back around and walk down into this bunker.
Yeah, Elo walks down, and does Beegax follow them?
Yes, absolutely. He drew, his gun is drawn though.
Oh,
he's like,
yeah.
His pistol's drawn.
Yeah. Verse sees Beegax lead and like pulls out her pistol as well and follows down into this bunker. And Elo, you get down there, and now this room, this has also furniture and stuff in it, but this stuff feels lived in. Like, there's a bed and sheets are ruffled up, you know? There's a desk and there's all kinds of, like, mechanical parts and tools and bits and pieces of machines. And you look around this room and you recognize it. This is the room that you were first activated in. And then you hear a voice from atop the ladder, and it says, "Hello, Elo." Our camera settles back outside on the streets of Cjaalysce'i, slowly pushing in on a 2D hollow of Beegax, hanging on the wall of a humid, steaming noodle food stall. The hollow isn't flattering, capturing the surly Doug mid-sentence as he gestures with one hand and grapples with a slicing deck in the other. Suddenly, a hand grabs the hollow device off the noodle stall wall and pulls it out of frame. A Gran focuses 2 of her 3 eye stalks on the 2D hollow of Beegax. A grin spreads across her snout. Her 3rd cybernetic eye glows and streams data into a cybernetic augment attached to the side of her head. She reaches over and unceremoniously disconnects her own slicing equipment from a mangled, brightly colored R2 unit. Its insides laid bare, and its delicate wires droop limply like discarded noodles. The Gran looks over her shoulder and nods deviously at her companion, an IG assassin unit that swivels into position, aiming its blasters at the noodle shop droid. Blaster fire is heard, and the R2 unit falls to the ground, smoking. Its optic sensor dims as the 2 bounty hunters fade into the streets of the walled city. Thank you for listening to this week's episode of Respect the Crit, Empire's Edge. If you like what you heard, please consider supporting us by giving us a 5-star rating and review on iTunes. It's a simple thing that will really help us grow the show, and we love to read your feedback. For more information about the show, visit @RespectTheCrit on Twitter and Instagram. Beegax is played by Alex Herrera, who you can find on Twitter @AEHerrera or on his Twitch channel, WadeWolf10. Elo is played by Jamie Lee-Bonés, who you can find on Instagram @jamielee.bones. I'm Ian Duncan, your GM and MC, and you can find me @idunks on Twitter and Instagram. The original music featured in the show is provided with permissions by a variety of artists and are linked in the show notes. Please support them by visiting their platforms to check out more of their work and tell them how much you like the show. The Star Wars role-playing system and books are published by Fantasy Flight Games. And remember, whatever the system, whether it's a miss or a hit, you always gotta respect the crit. Thank you very much, and may the Force be with you.
Whoa! You're from Socorro? Excuse me?
Oh my gosh, I feel like... Remember that episode of King of the Hill where Hank finds out he was born in, like, California instead of Texas?
Yeah.